green. Oh, but Koa holds it around the outside, and he gets a way better
take it.
Pushing hard, already 3 wide into turn 1.
A little bit, and a group of Astons just piling up on him, trying to hold everybody off. Push him wide a little bit, but you can't make it stick.
Boonstra is able to hold the inside.
Got a little overlap, but he can't do it.
Ooh, and
he just caught it.
Mr. Sir and King are banging doors.
Oh, shoot.
And we're off and away for SRA.
And good evening, racing fans. We are back tonight, SRA Season 6, Round 5 here at Zolder. And apologies for taking a little bit longer to get things rolling. It was a weird computer issue. We're basically getting no feed whatsoever over to Twitch. But we got that taken care of. Looks like we figured it out. And like to welcome Selena to our booth as well. Welcome, Selena.
Hello. It's good to be back for another round of the GT3 Team Series. Looking forward to it.
Yes, let's do this, guys. And again, because we did start a little bit late due to some weird technical issues, I'm going to switch over really quick to the track map. We can take a quick look at it. So you guys know where we're racing on. We are at Zolder. A lot of you guys are familiar with this track. Is especially Sector 2 of this track. We have that one deadly chicane, turn number 5, that leads you to that other chicane, turn number 7. Obviously, it's usually first chicane causes some people to, well, lose their car entirely, where chicane number 7 tends to cause a lot of track cuts. Rather than more like a spin. But, you know, it is one of the shortest tracks we have on the season. Just Brands Hatch turned out to be the smaller one. It is roughly 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles long in the 11 turns. But, yeah, anything else that we want to get started here? Again, drivers are on qualifying already. Since a little technical difficulty, the silver drivers are out there. Really quickly, just pull up the standings so we see who is up front before we head over to the qualifying. We do have Archie with that lead, and quite a little bit of a gap between himself and Chilcutt with a heck of a race last week at Imola. Damiani now moved up to 3rd, so he's had quite a few good races the last few events. We do have Louis in 4th, Russell Allen 5th. Then we have 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th separated by roughly 15 points. So quite a little bit of things that can happen after tonight's race here as far as Zolder goes. We do have over 40 drivers. And moving over to our team standings. We do have Ghost Rider racing the Maple Bandits, Mr. Archie and Smalley with that lead, 472 points. Champion Motorsports team, McLaren, you know, I'm always going to favor them since it's my favorite car. We have Semedo and Crown, and not too far back for that 3rd spot, we will have Mist Apex Racing Audi with Boardman and Louis. But without further ado, let's move over to our race, guys. We don't want to take too long to get things rolling, as drivers have already been putting their laps. Currently, Drady's with that lead, and Wagner not too far. Oh, half a second behind him, still out on the track to try to get that pole from him. Again, 12 minutes left in the qualifying session. In about 2.5 minutes or so, the Go drivers will be coming out to put in their laps. So give me just a second while I get that issue on the picture-in-picture taken care of here on my end. For some reason, it's not showing up on your end. So let's get that going on my end here, and that explains it, since I don't have this one small little software up and running to get that going. So we'll see how that goes. 1 second, and there we go. Now he popped up the way it should. But Selena, you had a race here yesterday, so tell us a little bit about how did that go for you?
Oh, well, for starters, second chicane, turn 7, went very interestingly. Lap 1, pretty interesting. Lap 2, now that was just a killer. It's always turn 7, the second chicane, everyone just well, I say not everybody, but the majority of the mid pack to like the mid pack just died completely at turn 7. So D4 race was it was interesting, lots of action. Race was quite spread out, but again, it's always at the chicane where there's the most action. But let me tell you, there was a lot of yellow flags in the D4 race. So we'll see what happens tonight with D2 and those terrifying chicanes, specifically the second one.
Yeah, and you mentioned, and we were talking a little bit about earlier, first chicane, again, is very tough for most cars if you really want to gain a lot of time, but you have to get that properly. If you get that curb a little too much curb, you offset your car, and well, you go right into the dirt. And as you mentioned, second chicane, on the other hand, well, that's the one you need to be really careful with your track cuts, because that is, especially later down, you have an hour race. Later in the race, if you're already at 3 cuts, you get one more, you get sent to the pits. And that's not something you want to happen, as maybe other drivers behind you might be able to use their cuts if they haven't fully used them all yet, and try to come up and maybe gain a position or 2. So it isn't, obviously we are in Belgium at Zolder. It's not the most famous track out in Belgium. That title goes to Spa-Francorchamps, but it's still a very technical track. We're following Kish around. He's currently second. He's taking that position away from Wagner, who is in third now, back into the pits, so he should be at least third from the silvers. It is, again, one of, talking to Selena earlier, as one of the tracks that, if you're really old, if you had ACC dating back, you know, when it first came out, Alpha and things of that sort, and we always talk about how ACC pit has always been a challenge for everybody. Now, back in the days when we talk about pits in the alpha versions of this game, it was to the point where you had no idea whether you did a driver swap. You had basically, it was really even more complicated than it is today. And Zolder single player was the first track on a single player campaign. You had to do a driver swap, and you had no idea whether you did it or not. A lot of times you finish the race, you get disqualified right away. So you spend another 30 minutes trying to figure that out again. So it's interesting. Like, I had a lot of practice on this track because of that, and it is a fun track. You just have to make sure you get it. You know, like I said, it's very technical. Not very many rooms for mistakes, like almost zero. I would call it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Silver drivers have gone into the pit. We're gonna go ahead and focus on the gold drivers who should be coming down the lane. I believe Stasiv is the first driver that's out to be starting his lap, and he's a very, very quick driver, but hasn't had much luck lately. He's always either been involved in some pit issue or maybe got the wrong curb here and there, and unfortunately end up ending his race. But we should see, as he is one of the fastest drivers here at D2. Starting his lap with that 90-degree left-hander. Don't go too wide into the dirt, and you get this turn number 3, which you need to make sure you get that proper so you get a really good exit out of this. You can gain a lot of time if you keep your car within the grip section of the track, the racing line. That takes you to turn number 4, you'd call here, and then don't go too wide into that dirt, and that's very easy to happen. And then you get to that, well, the so dreaded first chicane at Zolder. As we know, and let's see how Stasiv takes it. He completely avoids the curb. Smart move, I would say, at least to get one qualifying lap, and making sure that he's at least got one valid lap for the session. As he goes through the second chicane, goes a little bit safer, not too wide into possibly getting a invalidated lap, as he swings right out of that chicane and leads to the other end of the track, which I used to think this was a full hairpin, but it really isn't. It's almost like a 75-degree right-hander, but full on brakes. He goes fast chicane down on the back stretch as he will approach the pit entry, which is something we'll talk about in just a second, but he goes to the last chicane, and that will give you a lap here at Zolder. And speaking of that pit entry we talked about, it's very interesting, as some drivers might want to pit and some might not, and you might miscalculate your brake marker and you think the driver ahead of you is gonna make a left, and you can get you confused. So if you're following somebody really close and the person ahead of you has yet to pit, you might want to be a little bit wary of what could happen. So.
Oh yeah, I remember like I think it was yesterday or in one of the practice sessions. I was running my laps and I have a guy behind me, and I'm telling you, it freaks me out. Like, because I genuinely think they're just gonna whack right into me from behind, but they're just flying in the pits. I'm like, wow, that was close.
It's like you see that car growing on your view mirror. You're like, don't hit me, and then all of a sudden,
oh, they're going to the pits.
Yeah, it's like it's okay. I think I saw yesterday. I forget exactly what it was. I was watching the Division 1 race, and they went absolutely gunning into the pits, and I think he even went a little bit to the right, ended up tapping the wall, and then just kind of like sent himself right into the pits, like I need to repair my car while at it, kind of thing. It was kind of crazy, but you know, it is a track that you see a lot of weird incidents happen. So
yeah, that's for sure. If it's not anywhere else, it's definitely at Zolder. That's a fact.
yes, and by the way, Schlitz just crossed the line currently in 5th. By the way, he's been doing great this season. He's moved up from a division a few rounds back. He's currently in 5th. He put a 28.455. By the way, Drebe's with that pole for now with 27. See that 27.902. A heck of a lap from him. Chilcutt also had a heck of a race last week. He's currently in 4th. He is improving his delta at the moment, and as he goes through the first chicane and leading into the second one, we're gonna switch the camera a little bit here, and we're gonna follow Mr. Chilcutt around, see if he's able to improve on that. And he's got a good half a second on his best lap, so he is looking to get that pole away from Drebe's at the moment, and unless he makes any mistakes here in the last sector 3, has a great exit out of that. I used to call it a hairpin, but it really isn't a hairpin. Still about half a second on his best time, and this is gonna be the moment here as he swings out of that turn, loses a little bit of time. He's gonna be really close for that pole with Drebe's.
Oh, still P4.
So still, I see, and he had an invalidated towards the end. So, but at least he's pushing it. So yeah, our mistake here. We didn't see that as he did not count. But he's gonna go for another lap, and we'll see his delta going up. But we should see him. He's got about 3 minutes to get a good lap in and send himself to the top. A couple other drivers were falling around. Let's go to Archie, who's currently actually below his delta, is currently in 17, so he should not be improving this time around. Any other drivers looking on my end? Smalley, by the way, has yet to put... Well, he put a lap, but he's 2 seconds behind. Now he's improving his lap by about half a second. Should move him a few spots. And we're going to focus back on Chilcutt here, as at the very moment he seems to be on a mission. Hope his lap is still valid, so he's going for it, giving it a second go.
Right into that funky looking, not so hairpin.
Yeah, and it's funny. I used to hate hairpins on all these. I've seen sim racing games. You're supposed to go fast, and you just get these hairpins. It just slows you down, and it's like,
oh yeah,
I just hate it. It's just like I hate going slow. I'm supposed to go fast on these things. It's like this completely kills the whole thing. So you know, here we go.
Speed is key, but
and Chilcutt sends his Aston Martin
there
to
we
pole.
go. P1
grabs that P1 with a pretty good amount. It's about a hundredth of a second from Drebe's, who was in second. Kish is in third. Damiani, by the way, in fourth with his Aston Martin. And that has put Wagner now in fifth, who hasn't had much luck on these past 3 races. And now he's put his Lexus way up in 5th place, about half a second behind the leader. And you can see the time so far, all the way through basically I would say here P18. Actually, P19 is basically within a second of one another. That's a pretty close group of basically 35 drivers tonight. So still looking at Chilcutt try to see if he's able to improve his lap. He is currently leading, but his delta has dropped down as he made a few mistakes earlier. Schlitz, who is on his lap as well, he seems to be improving just a bit. He's currently in 7th, and we'll keep an eye on him. Just about a minute and 20 seconds left in our qualifying session. And once the qualifying session is over, I plan to actually show a couple of, I like to call them Easter eggs, but actual real replications of what Kunos have put into the game. I was going to do that during small, you know, outlap practice, excuse me, outlap, qualifying lap from the Silvers, but we'll wait until we get down to the race, and during that, we'll take a quick look. It's just a few on Zolder, a couple of interesting things, you know, about the track. It's another great replica from Kunos as they replicated here into ACC.
I always love finding Easter eggs in anything, especially like sim games. It's like nice to see those, especially when it's like a memorial of some sort. It's really cool seeing.
Yeah, and we talked about that in Limola last week, and it's really cool that Kunos have. The one thing that they actually did too, and I honestly I forgot to look at it and do a flyby. When the track came out, it was during the whole pandemic stuff going on, and all the people on the standings, they had a mask. So if you actually fly by and you go over the standings part of the track, they have masks on. I don't know if that was really maybe removed on a patch or not, but I thought that was something interesting that Kunos did that when they released the track. So.
Oh, wow.
We're going to follow along here with Louis, currently 8th. He's doing a heck of a lap at the moment. He's got a good 0.04 of a second improvement. That would shoot him way up on the standings since it's so close up top. Qualifying is effectively over for those who have basically yet to cross the finish line. So Louis is trying to make up that ground, and his current pace should net him a good 5 positions, leading right up to 3rd. And Louis is a very fast driver himself. We'll take a quick look and see if he's able to nail the last chicane. Off he goes. Might drop a bit, but that should have net a 3rd. Sends him, yep. 3rd he goes. Makes no mistakes on that last chicane and sends his Audi right up to the 3rd, 2nd row alongside Archie. But Chilcutt with a heck of a lap there for the pole, excuse me. And we see Allen crossing in, and he's currently in 28th and skips that 28th, and Kovac currently in 31st, excuse me. And that should net him a few positions as he crossed the line. Yep, 23rd, just like literally jumped 8 spots for just a little bit of an improvement. So we see how things go here. Oh, man.
Qualifying definitely matters at Zolder, so...
It definitely does. You're not kidding.
Whatever works, it works.
Alrighty.
As long as you're up in front.
Here we go. We are ready and set to go through our Zolder race event, and I talked about having a little bit of a quick flyby before we get things started. Now, I'll keep myself focused on Kovac here for now, but we're gonna step out of the car and we're gonna go a little bit of a flyby. Let's see if I don't go too crazy on you guys, and I won't take too long since the race will start in about 2 minutes or so, and the actual first outlap, excuse me, or formation lap. So first off, this is a really cool replica of this hotel. There's an actual hotel directly behind the standings here at Zolder, which is interesting. And one thing that's interesting too, which is kind of funny, it's called the Pits, by the way, but if you're actually on this little balcony area, it's really interesting that if you're here, you have this huge standing roof right on the finish line. So you can see the race coming from here, and you can see all the cars there. And you don't really see who's crossing the line if there's a close battle in the end, which is kind of interesting. But this is a pretty cool replica. See, that's the other side of the hotel. So pretty cool. Something small to see. Let's go really quickly over to this part of the track. And you've probably seen this before. If you go this side, on this part of the track, there's a huge river back here with a couple of windmills back there, which is a factory and I guess generates energy in a coal factory. I think that was pretty cool, and how Kuno's implemented that as well. A couple of solar panels on this part of the track, which makes it really, really cool. Now let's go over really quickly to the other side of the track. I don't want to take too long, and we're going to take a quick drone flyover. This is something interesting that I found on the track, that they seem to have some kind of practice session, whether you're doing go-karts and whatnot on this part of the track. So it's actually just a parking lot, so I thought it was interesting. And last but not least, let's just go over here for now. I don't want to take too much time. We're going to do a quick flyover at this part of the track, and there's an actual BMX say dirt track here all the way through with a ramp up here as well, which is kind of cool. I thought it was interesting. You can see there's a sign here too. It says BMX Zolder. It's kind of interesting. So when you drive by this section of the track right here, coming down this part, you just look to this little house on your right hand side and just know that on the opposite side of that there's a little bit of a BMX track, and in here there's also a cafe. It looks like a house. I believe this was a house before. That's an actual restaurant now. I thought it was pretty interesting. So anyways, drivers are going to be going on their out lap soon. I know there's probably more, and I know there's a statue here too, but I was not able to find it, at least on my flybys. But anyways, back to the drivers as they are going on their formation lap. And whew, let's get the cameras ready to roll here. I'm going to focus the main screen on a heli view. And we are going to take a, let's go up to maybe, I'd say let's go up to Kish in 5th. And that will give us a decent aerial view for the first group of cars. And then we're going to go down to about 20th or so, where Stasi on the picture-in-picture, which I need to move that out of the way. Obviously, that would actually help. So give me just 1 second, guys, on my end. I forgot to hit that drive button. And that's a lot better. There we go. And we can close out of this. There we go. All right. So, Selena, what are your, I mean, Chilcutt with the lead. Tough track to overtake. What are your predictions here? What do you think? You think Chilcutt takes the win? I mean, you have Dravies up front, Louis, Archie. You know, what do you think?
Honestly, I feel like it's going to be a really close one with Chilcutt, Dravies, and who was that other one at Brands Hatch that was all, I think Damiani it was, who was really battling it out.
Yep, Damiani did a great job in Brands Hatch, yep.
Oh, yeah. Like that 3 Aston Martin fight, I think it's going to be either one of those 3.
Yeah.
Because they've been, like, really holding it out there with great performance. So, or there could be a surprise that we would not know of. Like, somebody else would take the win for this round. You never know.
Yeah.
But I think those 3.
I mean, you think about, Chilcutt and Dravies first row, they do have the 2 Aston Martins. Now, Dravies silver, Chilcutt gold. So, in short, that they're basically, I mean, you want to have bragging rights as a full race, sure. But Dravies with that silver D2, it's got a pretty good, I'd say, gap over Kish, was in 5th. Now, as we mentioned earlier, anything can happen at Zolder with those curbs and trackers.
Oh, yeah.
So, and hopefully you get your pit correct as well. Let's just not jinx anybody on that. So.
Yeah, and don't follow too close or else, yeah, just send it into the pits and don't send it into a car ahead of you.
Yep. And drivers are just coming around the last chicane. Let the entire group come around the chicane. We're about to go green. We have checking the chat, Latufo, Louis for the win. So we got Louis in 3rd. We got Latufo rooting for him as
green light.
Here we go.
And green.
Here we go,
and
guys.
We're off the way.
Let's see how we go through turn 1. Looking pretty good so far. Everybody sort of
pretty steady. Yep.
Oh, a little bit of a bump. Somebody goes off in the back. Looks like somebody might have gone wide a little bit, and looks like, not sure if that was Botella that went into the pits. I'm not sure if he's starting up the pits, but it looks like he did get a little bit of a touch back there. Well, stewards will take a look at that later and see if everything was okay. But it looks like from the start, pretty decent.
Yeah. Coming up to the first chicane.
Here
Let's
we go.
see. Oh, Bailey almost sent it behind Schiltz, but he didn't.
We have Boardman at a yellow. Looks like he's dropping down positions there on the chicane as a bunch of cars are coming through.
Oh, pretty well stacked
So
until the pit window opens, and then it'll just extend from there.
But for the most part, you can see on your track map on your right-hand side of your screen, looks pretty decent snake all around. Some more all still together. But a few exceptions, a few drivers that drop down. But this is going to take a few laps to get all sorted out.
Oh, yeah.
And from the looks of it, yes, we do have, looks like Roger also has dropped in. Botella has returned to the pits. Take a quick look and see what happened. I didn't catch it on the stream, but it was a little bit too close for comfort going into that turn, basically turn one, as you go a little bit of the dirt, and then as we see Lou attacking Drabies on the outside, and it looks like he actually just takes it. Oh, excuse me, no, I'm gonna switch the cameras. I did not. He's actually between Archie and Schlitz, not too far back on his, but Louis trying to find a way around Drabies possibly here for that second spot. But somebody close, but it looks like a couple of yellows.
Side by side, Louis and Archie, but Archie just decides to just say, nope, I'm not risking that. You can have that position, Louis. First chicane, yeah.
I see somebody going straight into the first chicane, completely cuts it. Looks like that was Stasiv, as we're still following him. And again, we talked about pit window is open. We have a 55-minute pit window, as we do see Stasiv still battling there on the picture-in-picture. We'll switch that over. And it looks like he's able to come up with the lead, and switch that back for you guys. But Louis still holding on to that position under full attack from the rest of the group, as we see Chilcutt opening up a little bit of a lead, and Drabies now got away a little bit, just about half a second ahead. Excuse me, a second and a half, and then the rest of the group just following close. Checking on the chat, Jason Allen, he has dropped down to 33rd, and I believe there was an incident earlier. Saw a couple of yellows blinking on my screen, and he's dropped down to 33rd, so might be looking to work his way back. Pits are now open, as Selena pointed out. We'll see if any drivers will go for possibly maybe that pit right away and get away from this group. But then, even then, you might be coming out on some traffic from the rear, so I don't know. It's an interesting, different strategies. We'll see what happens.
So far, it's looking a lot more clean than the D4 race yesterday, so it's looking pretty good. But don't want to jinx anything.
Yes, we're gonna keep but we're just gonna say everything looks great, and that's what it is, guys. We'll leave it at that. We'll
just leave it at that.
But so far, it's been pretty good. Let's say.
Oh yeah.
No major issues. The drivers are getting kind of confident around. I'm still looking for a couple of battles. We're gonna find to see if there's. We're gonna go down to 27 here with Zuch under some pressure from Roger and Davidov. Again, a little battle towards the rear end. As looks like Roger.
Side by side.
Yeah, they're coming down the last sector into that fast chicane, and then leading to the slow chicane that will take you to the finish line. But looks like they're able to negotiate their way around.
Keeping it clean. Hartman's just peeking out of just grabbing his popcorn with Roger and Davidoff going at it, but now they've spread out. So there was that little battle.
And Hartman not too far back. He's currently getting a few positions, a couple of guys on the pits, but looks like somebody exiting the pits there. I'm not sure who that is.
Davidoff had a little spin off right there. A little wobbly, whirly.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. Lost that position to Roger, so now he's going to chase Roger.
Yeah, Roger has taken that back, so not too far back, leading to that first chicane. Keep an eye on this. As they go through again, you can see how the cars just lift when you tap that chicane the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
It is definitely scary to get through that part. And it's almost like spray and sand.
Oh, yeah.
We can only imagine me and the McLaren. I mean, you don't even ever want to even think those curbs exist. It's already bad on regular curbs. So
Yeah.
It's almost like car
I
would
know
get
what
flip.
Yeah, I know with the Porsche, it just that second part of the first chicane, it just when you send it, it lifts so odd. Like the left part of the front end just like crashes into like the tarmac first before the rest of the body of the car does.
You just
It's
basically
very
you basically
interesting.
pray it sticks. That's basically
Yeah,
what it
exactly.
And we are following a couple of battles, by the way, over here on the picture-in-picture and here. But currently, Damiani looks like he has overtaken Kish for that 6th spot, but very close there with Wagner following Kish behind as well as they go through that chicane once again. Hoping everything goes well every time you go through that section as Wagner and Kish practically next to each other going into the 2nd chicane, but looks like Wagner decides to back out, says, I ain't having none of that, but it looks like Kish might have to take a little bit of a cut. But he takes it and keeps that position. So Daviani now getting away from that small group. 6. Now the battle is basically between 7 and 8 and Wagner and Kish. And again, a group we're pretty close to one another, by the way.
The Porsche at least has the advantage to break a little earlier, but oh, Bailey Kish sends it right into the pits quite early.
He says, oh, I don't want none of this battle, and Wagner says, sure, maybe I'll pit in a little bit later. Why not? I'll take my Lexus up to the top for the meantime. Right? We talk about this, but so he gets a little bit of breathing to go on his nice-looking THR dark livery.
Yeah, that's a nice livery. I like that.
Oh, speaking of that, remember last week I had a little bit of an issue with Wagner's teammate Berg, who had the nice white livery. Let's take a quick look. He's currently in the pits, and that's your Jedi version versus the dark side version of the 2 THR liveries. Looking pretty good. And let's wait until he drives close to the pits. He looks like he had a pretty decent stop. I mean, they have some damage. It's been a little bit of extra time in the pits. About 8 seconds, so it's not too bad. But looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. And we're going to switch back up here as a couple of drivers spitting has sort of opened up the field a bit, but Lee is still under pressure from Anderson, who in turn has got Crown to deal with, who in turn has Semedo, and then Rebel, and then Boardman. It's that 8th battle, it's a lot of cars closing coming down to this Sector 3. There's a lot of people going on here, so hopefully everybody keeps it together. Maybe one of these would choose to go into the pits, maybe not. And it looks like most of them come down and do make the chicane. Now Lee at least has some clean air to deal with as Wagner has opened up a little bit of a lead. So Wagner getting a little bit comfortable. As we just see a yellow back there, looks like Garner has a yellow. He's dropped down, and let's take a look and see what happened. It looks like he had gone off on the last chicane, and let's take a look on the replay if he can go back a little bit. Give me a second here. We'll see if he can go back about 30 seconds just to see exactly what happened. Looks like he's falling super close, and oh my goodness, looks like maybe he forgot there was a chicane at that point, but he absolutely killed somebody into the chicane and then tapped, looked like what might have been Stasiv on his BMW. Now he's waiting for everybody to just get back on the track, so good sportsmanship, but man, looks like there was a major brake failure, would call it, as he's getting back, but he must have some car damage as well. But again, Zolder, that's what happens now. Yep,
good old Zolder, and interesting quirks with incidents.
Alright, we're gonna go back now to that battle still for that 8th spot, and Lee's still holding off Anderson, and then Crown Semedo really close to one another. And it looks like everybody else around the track for the meantime looks like they're sort of holding things a little bit together. Morrison in 18th does have second to deal with it on his BMW, not too far back. Take a look at the chat. By the way, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in, and sorry for the early technical difficulties. It took us a little bit longer to get going here, but Hope you enjoy the race so far, and we still got 49 minutes left. It's a long event. And checking the chat, appreciate it. Very nice to see Wagner in the top 10 again. He was D2 runner-up last season. Yes, he was. He just hasn't had much luck a couple of these rounds so far. Always maybe in technical issue or maybe just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's good to see him currently in that 7th spot. Again, also, we're talking about patches. Keep the voodoo away from the GRR drivers, please. Looks like...
Oh, yeah, patches.
You probably don't want to mention GRR. Keep that.
Yeah, keep that away just in case.
And following through with DC Storm Games follow request, we have switched over to Poliak for a bit, and he's currently sitting in that 31st position. So maybe an issue as early as he's obviously a quick driver. He has already pit, by the way. He got that cleared out of the way.
I was catching up to Stasiv. Half a second away.
Yeah, and Stasiv had that one huge cut on that first chicane, and he went straight into the dirt. Definitely a track cut at that point. But,
oh, yeah.
We'll see. I mean, his handling looks like his car, at least he doesn't look like he has any major damage. And that could have been, I think he was part of that incident with Garner earlier. I'm not sure if that was the person who, because he has dropped down to weight of 29th. And he was up ahead, way further ahead, so. And here he goes, as they're still not decided to pit. We'll see if Stasiv, who has already pit, by the way, that's why he's also dropped down, but it looks like he was involved in that incident. But Poliak not too far back, as they're currently crossing the line for their lap number 8. And Stasiv puts a 29.645 with Poliak 29.252. So Poliak closing the gap a little bit. Fastest lap of the race, by the way, we haven't mentioned much of it because he's gotten away, but Chilcutt currently leading the race with a 28.485. That's a heck of a lap on that Aston Martin. Looks like the closest to him at the moment would be Schlitz in 4th with a 28.697. So let's go ahead and focus back on Anderson. He's currently fending off Crown. Still, that battle looks like Lee opened up a little bit, but Anderson now having to deal with Crown and Semedo directly behind him. And
yeah, the battles seem to be a little bit spread out so far as some are pitting, but overall there's still little mini battles going on by the looks of it.
Yeah, that battle now for 9th, I would say. That's kind of, they're following each other very close. None of them have pit, by the way. Looks like Rebel, by the way, just as it was about to switch over to him, looks like Rebel has overtaken Boardman, was now fallen down to 13th.
Both choosing to avoid those curbs.
I think it's a smart bet, right? I would say, yeah, sure. I would probably consider that. Why not?
Oh, almost side by side.
Look at that.
But Rebel's like, yeah, I'm going to take the track cut.
And Boardman,
still sticks it.
Oof, he almost took that back, but Rebel said, you know what? Maybe I'll take that one on my list and keep the position. Yep. Interesting. But why not? He's kept on that position for now.
Yep.
And so 2 groups now that Rebel does have a 3-second gap ahead to Semedo to be able to catch up to him. And we're going to focus back on Lee for the meantime, as he's still leading that group, as Wagner now currently in 7th has opened up a 4-second lead. And it was 3 seconds about 2 laps ago.
Ooh, Dan Rebel just went off, so that secures a position for Boardman.
Let's take a look and see what happened. That was interesting.
Yep, he just went right off and just gave position right to Boardman.
Looks like he went to check out the dirt beaches of Zolder, found the water, and just right onto the track he went, but lost the position. So
Yeah, the water's not too far away, so there you go.
why not? Yeah, the river's on the other side, by the way, Rebel. Just so you know.
Yep.
You missed it. Let's take a look and see where Mr. Jason Allen, per request. Jerry, what's going on, man? We miss you tonight. Hope you're back with us next week. Here we have Jason Allen. He's currently in 25th. Looks like he had an issue at the beginning of the race, from what I remember. He has yet to pit, but he is towards the rear at the moment. He's carrying on his beautiful-looking Ferrari, courtesy of Jerry Filken himself. Filkenstein. There we go. I don't want to mess your name up. But yes, look at that livery coming down. Just at Sector 3.
That nice artistic livery that Jerry.
Work of art. Here it is.
Yep.
Coming straight through. Now, Allen has yet to pit, by the way. So we'll see if he decides to do it yet. But nope, he stays out on the track.
Still going.
I got it. That is an outstanding looking livery. Good job, Jerry.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I know you're not on the booth.
Great
The
job.
door is locked for you tonight. We've shut the door. We're only letting you next week. Coming around. See, there's the river on the other side as the camera captured it a little bit.
Yep. It was a little close, but not there.
Not there yet. Yeah. Let's go back to Boardman here, Carly, on that 12-13 battle. So Boardman and Rebel kind of going at it for the fast, I'd say, quite a few laps now. I know Rebel made that one mistake. Boardman took the position back. And now he's got Rebel again just about half a second behind him. So Boardman, you know, he's going to have to defend a little bit. Rebel is not happy. He's like, that was a mistake on my end. I want that position back. He knows he can possibly take that 12th. As Rebel's previous lap was a 31.447 with that mistake. And Boardman had to somewhat avoid that. He did basically a 30 flat. And crosses the line, and looks like Rebel now on a mission. He's put in his fastest lap of the race of 29.715, slightly faster than Boardman. So we should see him coming behind as we see a Ferrari going wide, moving out of the way, and I believe that might be Botella, who had an issue at the start of the race. Nice looking Puma. Funny enough, not lying to you, I'm actually wearing a Puma shirt right now, so just you can remember, like I got a Puma shirt at an outlet the other day, and it looks pretty cool. Look at that. Rooting for Mr. Boardman. That's right. And let's switch this over as we were following. We're going to follow Boardman on the picture-in-picture along with Rebel, but we're going to switch this over to Anderson right here. It looks like he made a mistake, and he's dropped down the position to ground. We're going to take a look at the replay and see exactly what happened here.
Ooh, that's close action right there between Samedo and Anderson. But Samedo takes the inside, and he actually secures that.
Yeah, we look like
having Anderson behind his rear.
Yeah, Samedo now opened up, as we did see that happen, a mistake from Anderson. And now he has kept the position, as we do see as they're coming down to finish their lap. So, you know, mistakes happen, and Anderson looks like he might have gone a little too much on that second chicane and went wide onto the left and saw a lot of bumps there, and sent your car flying.
He goes wide on turn 1 as well.
Kind of slides a little bit.
A little bit after that, yeah.
Looks like maybe he hasn't pit yet. I know there most likely no be tire changes, but hopefully his tires are not cooked. As maybe a little bit of a slide there leading to turn 1, but Samedo has cleared him, so kind of opened up that gap a bit. Now, let's take a quick look here for P6, by the way. And Damiani holding on strong to that 6, but Wagner, he's closing in. He is dead on focus for that 6th spot. He's been kind of quiet, and he opened up a large gap, now 7.5 seconds to P8, and Wagner looking to possibly challenge Damiani for that 6th spot. And further ahead, by the way, Louis has Schlitz not too far back on his bumper as well, just roughly about a second. So a battle of front engines here cooking up as they will be crossing and starting their lap number 14. Damiani comes through with a 29.782 and Wagner with a 29.717. So practically.
Oh, we have a yellow.
We got a yellow.
Yeah.
It's got
looks
Roger.
like to be a blue flag car just spun out somehow by the looks of it. He was just chilling right on that corner.
And as I was about to look over Roger, I'm not sure if you might have disconnected. I don't see his name anymore on the list, so that might have been something that happened. Interesting.
Oh, and as that happens, Schultz just completely takes the dirt in the first chicane.
You go straight?
Yeah, almost. He's right in the dirt.
Why not take that track cut? Why not? Lift off the gas as much as you can. Do not get the race control, the in-game race control, to give you a penalty.
Yep. The beach is the other way.
That is correct. Left side of the track, guys. Left side after turn 2. You're more than welcome to go get a swim in the river once the race ends, not before.
Yep, a little too early for that. Just
Yes.
37 more minutes to go. Just hold your horses.
And you'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Switch over the cameras for a second, as it looks like Lee is still fending off again. He has Crown and Semedo, who has now gone through Anderson, and pretty close battle as they're starting their next lap, and seems quite a bit interesting, but looks like basically at the moment Lee being followed by 2 McLarens. We got Crown and Semedo, teammates by the way, following very close to one another. So checking the chat for a bit. Let's see, Puma pants next. You know, by the way, I do have some Puma pants. I'm just not wearing them today. So I'll get that next stream. We'll get that in there. I have Nike pants. Look at that. I don't see any Nike sponsorships here right now. That's what I have. But let's see, chicane death toll. We have Jerry saying in the millions. I mean, honestly, we haven't seen many deaths, to be honest, but the amount of cuts we've seen, I mean, at least yellows as they're cutting that, it's kind of maybe on the 10. Probably 10 or 11, maybe and above.
Lots of gravel action, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're testing their tires to see if they can handle the dirt and all that, but I'm not too sure it will slow you quite a lot down, as it's like Schlitz goes almost into the dirt into the last turn, but able to keep it steady. So has about a second lead, but not too far back. Again, Damiani and Wagner is trying to get his Lexus in some kind of draft to maybe put some pressure on Damiani, but not able to. Now, Crown has made through Lee, by the way, so he has now moved up to 8. Semedo, now Lee being basically squeezed by 2 McLarens, as you see it, as maybe some kind of teamwork might be at play here, as maybe Crown will hold back a little bit, get Semedo into striking distance, and they both clear Lee, who's currently in 9th. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
He's definitely sandwiching, that's for sure.
Yeah, you see a Aston Martin sandwich by McLarens as they're coming down the dreadful first chicane. Now on the chat we have Dromo saying shout out to my boys P4 P6. That's right, we have Archie, Schlitz, Damiani. Now Damiani very focused with his Aston Martin, because any mistake, and Wagner is not gonna let that go. As they're both maybe trying to see, maybe Wagner in a little bit of advantage, they haven't yet to pit. And if he sees Damiani going for the pit, he says, I'm falling right through, try to go for the undercut. Now Wagner very close after that exit, now he's got him striking distance. As coming down turn number 2. And Damiani has a pretty good smooth exit, and battle of front engines going on for that 6th spot. And again, now Crown, by the way, still leading that 8th spot with Lee 9th to Semedo and 10th. And then now Anderson and Boardman, by the way. It's kind of like a really long group.
Yeah.
With Crown leading them. So they're very close to one another.
Crown's got all the pressure, but it's decently spread out a little bit by roughly half a second. So he's pretty well decent for now, at least, until it all crumbles up later on, depending what happens.
Had somebody on the chat asking where Wheeler was, and just like to show off his Aston Martin. He's currently in 25th. He's already pit. He's got a nice looking, is it a purple, nice looking, really nice livery on this Aston Martin. And it's funny how everybody, a lot of people that drive, and I am absolutely terrible with liveries, but they make some really nice looking liveries, and better than the ones that Kunos themselves from the drivers in the actual real events. I mean, I've seen a couple of those liveries. They look pretty good, but the drivers go completely out here and come up with some really, really nice looking liveries. So take a look at Mr. Lance Shark, currently in 27th, by the way. He does have Berg on the other Lexus, following him really close as they go through that 2nd chicane. So a battle between a Porsche and a Lexus. They all have, both drivers have already pit.
Ooh, Berg really gets nice entry right there. He's but he falls a little bit behind from Landshark.
You have that Porsche exit speed is just, they're gone every time you're coming off on a slow corners, and get on the gas and see you later. That's the advantage of a Porsche.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And again, not too far ahead, we have Stasiv coming through with Rebel, who's already get pit as well. And Berg trying to bait Shark into a little bit of a mistake, but loses time himself trying to go on the inside. And on the picture-in-picture, that battle, it's still going, that battle for 8th with Lee and Semedo, so they're very close to one another. So two different close battles going on.
Yeah, Landshark's just still sticking at making sure that Berg just does not pass him at all.
As they go through that, and Shark wisely avoiding that curb. Well, the sausage in the curb. Just narrowly, I'd say that's the safer bet.
Yep.
But now behind him, by the way, just behind Berg as he goes to the chicane, Gardner, who had that one missile onto the last to the last chicane. Looks like he's got his car fixed, but he's following Berg close together. Looks like, yeah, his car is repaired, so Berg is basically sandwiched in between a couple of rear engines. Taking a quick look at the chat, most impressive thing, there is a Ferrari in P4. Yeah, you're right. Archie has kept us Ferrari up there on the 2nd row. He's actually not gained any positions. He started 4th. He's been in 4th. He's holding it steady. And Adam says Wagner has an advantage under brake in the mid corner, but damn, yes, does that Aston just walk away on the straights? Yep. That Aston, that's the power. That turbo kicks in, and yep. So it's a battle between front engines, but they're still pretty close to one another. Wagner actually really close. We're going to switch this one back here and see. He's trying to bait Damiani to something. Looks like Damiani might have lost a little bit. Look at Wagner on the outside. And yep, as I moved, and Damiani on the inside, holding it, not giving that up. It goes a little bit wide. Still battling for position.
Wagner's trying to peek his nose out, but can't seem to find a way past Damien.
He's banging doors.
Still trying to catch that draft.
And now they're coming down.
Too wide. Oh, now too wide, but now Damiani just closes it right on the chicane.
So Damiani,
not today.
Ooh, that was, I mean, he had a little mistake on turn 1, but he was at least able to fend off the Lexus. That was a pretty good battle. He just kind of banged doors a little bit, but
Yeah.
nothing intentional, just battling for position. But this is not over. This is absolutely not over at all.
They are on a mission, that's for sure.
Very close again, and now Damiani might have been a little bit of Wagner trying to throw Damiani off on the inside of turn 1. And Damiani might have just taken that quick glance in his mirror and said, oh crap, this is the turn, but he just sends it right into the pits. Damiani said, I'm not having any of this. He goes a little too much.
A little too much and into the grass in the pits.
Looks like he saved it and looks like he will be okay, but
that was close.
Similar to what I saw yesterday, except that the person hit the grass, and that was into the wall too. So, but Damiani says, I'm not having any of this. Goes into the pits, gets that out of the way. We're gonna switch over to Archie, by the way, who's holding off Schlitz for that 5th spot most of the race as well.
Actually, I just saw Rebel having a drive-through penalty, but he just cleared it.
So Rebel, maybe, we hate to see that, with going a little over speed on the pit entry or not, and maybe not shifting down to first, get your pit limiter going, and, man, you just hate to see that happen. Yeah.
Not the things you want to do during a race.
And by the way, a huge group coming down that straight, and we're going to switch this over and see if we can catch that mid-battle. That's a couple of blue flags, excuse me, you see there on the picture-in-picture. Oh, somebody looks like a McLaren that spun. And that was, who looks like was Semedo from what I believe. But, no, Semedo, excuse me, he's okay, but there was a couple of drivers just kind of shuffling around. Their liveries look very similar to one another. Yeah. Somebody lost it back there on the second chicane, and looks like no major damage, but back on the track he goes.
Speaking of Semedo, he is very close to Doug Lee at the moment. He almost peaked, but still couldn't secure that spot. So he's just still looking behind of Lee.
And going down the back straight into first chicane, by the way, looks like Gardner was able to overtake Berg for that 26th spot. So that was a battle going way down from turn 1 and 2. Now Berg has lost the position, and he was getting closer to Shark, and now he's dropped down. Now Gardner leading this little small pack of cars. Now he does have to worry about who looks to be somebody. Actually, the driver behind him is a blue flag, so Berg is out of the way. Now Harris is very close, and that is for position P27, and Harris glued behind Berg as he opened up the door to get himself out of the way as they goes a little too deep on the brakes. Harris on the outside, though, looks like they bump each other, and whew, that was a little bit of a battle as Harris has the inside. Looks like Harris does take it. Berg not backing out just yet, but he does. He lets him through, and Harris finishes that overtake. So good move on Harris. Now sends Berg down to 28th as Diggs looks like he have gone off into the deadly chicane we talk about, but on the track he goes. Very interesting so far. So quite a few shuffle of positions. And by the way, going over to 16th as Kish has already pit, by the way, and so has Damiani, who had a take a look at his Damiani's pit. Looks like it was about 8 seconds in the pit. I'm not sure if he had some damage though, but a 43-second total pit all the way across, and he might have lost some position as Kish is now right ahead of him. He has already a pit, so we'll keep an eye on Wagner's pit as he has yet to pit, and that was the closest battle between himself and Damiani. We'll see basically at this point Wagner's able to basically overtake Damiani by making a later pit stop. We'll see if he comes out in front or not. We're going to switch back over to Lee, currently in P8, by the way, under some serious attack from Semedo in 9th. We got a yellow as Smalley. Looks like he has gone off. And at the deadly chicane again, he's getting his car back up. He's coming up the hill to get his second chicane started. And Lee and Semedo just going at it for the. They've been going at each other for quite a long time. Most of the race, Lee has been under attack the entire race. That is seeing that McLaren on his rear view mirror for the longest. As Crown cleared it, was able to overtake Lee.
He's just really latched on to Lee. Still trying to find that. Oh, and there is a Ferrari beach.
And that's Botella. Yeah, he has fallen down. He is the one that had an issue at the start of the race. I think he might have had a bump on turn 1, but he's got yellow. He's parked. And looks like he's back on the track now. And Lee again, he's been having that. McLaren, I mean, I'm kidding. He was basically, Crown was behind him. He actually passed him, and then now he's got to worry about Semedo, who's going to try on the inside, but such a tough track to overtake. Not much room, not a long straight to attempt to get side by side unless the driver ahead of you makes a little mistake on exit. And they have yet to pit. Maybe Semedo might be thinking about getting in and getting out of the way. Like maybe I'll undercut him on the pits. I don't know. He is still sticking out and still holding on. Pit window's open for another about 20 minutes. So we'll see. We'll see though.
Pretty close, that's for sure.
And we're going to switch over, by the way, battle for 24th now. Shark, who's got to deal with Gardner behind him now. And again, previously was Berg on Shark, and Berg had made a mistake. Fell off few positions back, and now Gardner has been catching up. And he wants that P24 now. Basically, tonight, every position will earn some points up to 40th. So every little spot will count. Obviously, you want to move up, you gain points. You might be within your own class in silver and gold, but you do gain points as you move up regardless, obviously. So since every driver finishing the race tonight should be earning points, down to we have 34 drivers in the race. So and checking the chat, yes, Kish undercut Damiani. Yes, he did. Now they're up there battling a little bit. Damiani's still behind Kish, by the way. So good move from Kish so far. I was able to get that position as they're going at each other here. Lee just taking the inside line, is Semedo just on the outside, and just at this point, Semedo, what else do I have to do to possibly get around you? And he's not helping at all. I mean, Semedo just trying every move on the book, and Lee with a full defensive moves.
And they still have the pit too, so it's all or nothing with between these two. Either undercut or overcut it.
I mean, if I'm in Semedo's seat at the moment, that's just me, because Anderson, by the way, is about 2 seconds behind him. And, and Crown is getting away, by the way. He's been moving up.
Yeah, he's flying out.
Quite a bit. And if I'm Semedo, I'll be thinking about maybe getting in and getting this out of the way and just take my chances that way. That would be me. So.
Yeah. Might as well get it done and over with.
I mean, he's been stuck, I'd say, behind Lee for most of the race. And they're both steady and good drivers. And I'm just in Semedo's shoes right now. I'll probably be considering getting into the pit. So.
Yeah, it's been a long while with this battle.
Yeah,
I definitely think I'll just get it done and over with.
Yeah, Crown has opened up about a 5-second lead already from Lee, so they're still choosing to stay out.
Chicane or, taking the chicane rather than the pit.
They both do, and maybe Semedo is waiting for Lee to get into the pit and now just follow him right through. And maybe try to get that on the pit as both drivers are in. Maybe Lee makes a mistake, and he's like, I'm gonna try this way, and you know, who knows? At least both drivers come out together on the track, and they both have to deal with anybody that's in front of them that's possibly slower. So, and Botella, by the way, out of the track again, another yellow. He's quite a few laps down, but he's got a yellow all the way on the left after the second chicane. Might have gone a little too wide. And looks like Hartman's in the pits, by the way. So Kish and Damiani have moved up a spot. And we're gonna take a quick look at this battle, as looks like they're glued to one another coming down the second turn. And Damiani, looks Kish did do that undercut from the pits, and we'll see what happens when Wagner comes out of his pits, as he was battling Damiani quite a bit. And ever since that happened, Wagner has been basically cruising. He's basically nobody around him. He's been hot lapping, so to speak, where Damiani is having to worry about Kish. So this might have benefited Wagner in the end, and he would move up to quite a few, at least ahead of Damiani, who was actually previously 6. So we'll see what happens when everybody else finishes pitting. And Louis in the pits, by the way, has given Wagner now 5th position, so getting his pit out of the way. But
ooh, Damiani getting really close to Kish. But Kish gets a bit of a better exit and just keeps sticking it. Damiani's still not close enough to try that overtake over Kish.
That exit out of turns from that portion just doesn't let Damiani attempt an overtake on turn 1. It's Kish would have to make an actual mistake, as he did. He slid. Oh, he drifted through turn 1 and killed it together. We're in dirt rally here. What was that all about, Kish? That was a pretty good move. I mean, he kept it together.
Some style points right there for Kish.
Yeah, he's got some extra points on that one. I saw his steering wheel turn entirely right. And Damiani might have saw that as maybe possibly an attempt to take, and Kish actually looks like he opened up a little bit of a gap even after that. So, wow.
Damiani must have been like really impressed, so he's just a little further back, just being so impressed.
It's like, oh, you know, you can have this lap. That was so good. I'll catch up to you the next one. That was very good. Not bad at all.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, and I'll keep this short. I'm not gonna jinx anybody, but Mitchell, by the way, currently P15. Boardman and Poliak directly behind him, as they're battling for position as well. And that is all I'll say about Mr. Mitchell. We're gonna move to another driver. Not jinxing him anymore ever again. And I moved over the camera. By the way, P2 Archie on that Ferrari does have Schlitz. They've been battling the entire race, by the way. And Schlitz just, you know, trying to maybe see if Archie will make a mistake on his Ferrari. But Archie has been super consistent and not giving Schlitz any chance whatsoever. And neither driver has pit. And we'll see what happens then, as Damiani, by the way, on the main screen still just absolutely glued behind Kish's Porsche. And Kish is just keeping his Porsche steady, and Damiani just trying to find room around, and Kish is just not falling for it at all.
Yeah, he wants to stay up there, that's for sure. And no Aston Martins allowed ahead of a Porsche. That's Kish's rule right now.
There we go. As Archie did go to the pits, by the way, so that gives Schlitz the provisionary 2nd place. And Chilcutt, by the way, has been leading as yet to pit. Maybe trying to open up as much as a gap. He was a heck of a race so far. We'll keep an eye here on the picture-in-picture as we'll see Archie stop and see what he's able to. Looks like, oh my goodness, he was such a quick stop. I missed it. He's already out of the pits, and that was, excuse me guys, that was my mistake, but Archie had a 5-second stop, a very good stop, by the way, and so did Draves, who was ahead of Archie earlier. So it looks like Archie comes back out on the pits and does have about a 4-second gap Dravis 4-second gap ahead of him. So both drivers the same pit time, and Dravis was ahead. So Archie has dropped 1 spot since Dravis has taken care of his as well. And still Damiani dropped off a little bit on another lap as Kish has a small breathing room, very small by the way.
The Aston is quite scary on a straight, so.
It's just
But
such
at
a
least
tough
Porsche
track.
can brake.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
It's already a tough track to overtake somebody, and you have
Oh, yeah,
strengths
that's
of
true.
certain cars, and then weakness. And when you add it all up on a track like this, you see them rubber banding the
Oh.
entire track.
But Tilla actually just spun right kind of in front of them, right into the dirt again.
He does go off. He's a few laps down, but you see him pick up quite a few yellows. But luckily, nothing happened with these guys.
Still in the clear.
And on the picture, by the way, Molyneux, who is ahead of Dravis, by the way, he's under pressure from Dravis and Archie, that 4-second behind. So Molyneux currently 8th, so it's a pretty good race for him. But unfortunately, he has yet to pit. He has not yet pit. But he's been keeping it steady. Shouldn't lose as many positions when he gets his pit window out of the way. And Kish has sort of opened up a small gap right now over
Molyneux,
Damiani.
great commentator for D4.
And Molyneux has dropped position to Dravis, by the way, where he is now behind him. And he has yet to pit, so we'll see what happens then. And with all this going on, we still have that Lee in 5th, Mr. Lee and Semedo in 6th, who have not yet pit. And then still at a second. Lee has about a second difference over the Semedo, so not exactly. From the looks of it, Lee's just going to see Semedo the entire race for the rest of the race. We have about 12 minutes left. We'll see how that happens here.
I'm getting short now.
Here's Damiani close again out of the second chicane, but makes a little mistake back there and gives a little bit of room to Kish. Just a small breathing room. Schlitz and Semedo have gone into the pits as of now, so Lee with now a little bit of a breathing room, I'd say, as Anderson is in 5th and he's got about a 2.5-second lead. A few cars have yet to pit. You can see there on your screen a little number 1 orange on the standings page. And Wagner has yet to pit, and we'll see when his pit is done where he comes out on the track.
Tomato just in the pits now.
Yep, he has just gone in. So Lee has yet to pit. We'll see where he comes out. And taking a quick look at Semedo's pit time, and it was a 8-second pit. So not as
Damiani right on the inside of Kish.
Looked like
Side by side.
This is going to be
Will
interesting.
Damiani get it? Will he
Kish
stick
is
it?
not backing down at all.
Oh,
Look at
takes
this.
a little bit of the dirt. Still side by side.
It looks like this might benefit
Martin
Kish.
just takes it. Oh,
Boy.
Kish. Oh, that was close. Wheel-to-wheel action.
No.
Oh,
Don't
no.
do it. No, he's going to take him. Oh, Jesus. Oh.
That was intense right there.
Just
What
happened.
just happened right there?
As they went into chicane together. that was scary for Damiani as he almost went off and lost track position, and I don't know what was going on there, but it looks like just racing
changed.
hard. That was pretty crazy, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah,
that was insane.
I thought one of them was gonna lose it right there, but no.
Well,
Still
I saw
is live.
Damiani got loose very quick, like a couple of
Oh
times.
yeah, he did.
You know, he's just like, all right, Kish, all right, well, let's do this again. I got 9 minutes. I'll catch up to you. Oh man, that was close, and that would I'd hate to see, especially that the positions they're currently in on the race. I'd hate to see both of these drivers go off. And by the way, Lee coming out of the pits. We'll see where Semedo is. We're gonna switch the camera over to him really quickly, and we'll see where Lee comes out. As you can see, as they're approaching, and Lee gets right in front of Semedo and Mitchell as well. So look at that. Lee able to open up a small gap between himself and Semedo, who has now got Mitchell ahead of him. He's so... Lee, I mean, he must be happy at this moment. I don't have to deal with the McLaren, but I got a little bit of a gap to Mitchell, who's behind me on an Aston Martin. So great pit from Lee, and he's able to keep that. Mitchell lets Semedo through, leading into the first chicane as he's going to start a hunt down of that Aston Martin again. You know, Semedo is just, oh man, he's been on that for the whole race.
It's happening.
Unbelievable.
Ooh, Mitchell going very close on Semedo right there out of that second chicane.
Well, this is a group.
Oh, yeah.
This is a massive group, by the way. Semedo, Mitchell, Boardman, Kovac, Poliak, and Wheeler. And we're going to get that on the main screen just to see. We're going to leave this here for the main screen to see. Let's go a little bit on the helicam to kind of maybe see and get an idea of what's going on here. And look at that group of cars. This is all for position, guys. Everybody has pit.
8 minutes left on the clock, and it's all or nothing right now with these various drivers just going right at it for P14.
What a crazy... We're going to actually... I'm going to move the camera over to Boardman as he's trying to go on the inside as I switched it right over. And, oh boy, he goes into the dirt. And it looks like Kovac has gone off from a late break from Boardman. So that drops him 2 spots. It looks like maybe Boardman, I have it tapped him leading to the turn 2. And then his car just went to the left. As we see on the chat, Porsche snap alert. Yeah, he did snap left. Yes, he did. He definitely did. But he's back on the track, only 2 seconds behind. So we'll see that train get going once again. Now, only 2 drivers from the looks of it. Excuse me. Looks like 3 drivers have yet to pit. Now, 4. Sorry. Molyneux, Zuch, Wagner, and Chilcutt have yet to get their pit. They have about 4.5 minutes to do so. But that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
This is going to go to the end, guys. 6 minutes left, and these guys are going to battle it out.
Zolder has proved that it's a crazy track with its interesting aspects of it.
Oh, boy. And look at the group of cars coming down the straight. They're roughly within about a second of each other, led by Semedo. And then Mitchell, Boardman, Poliak, Wheeler, and Kovac again had that little bit of a bump as Boardman shuts the door on Poliak. Says, you're not getting through here now, but then leaving room for Poliak to get under attack from Wheeler. But Wheeler backs off. And, oh man, I just got to put the focus back on Lee. Now he's got Semedo on his rear view mirror again. So Semedo is just like, come on, man. Unbelievable. He's caught up to me again. What a drive from Lee, though. I got to give it to him. He's been on target the whole race, fending off Semedo.
The majority of the race, it's just been those two going at it. Like, huge props to them. Just keeping it close and things like that.
Switching over to Wagner on the main feed, by the way, who we talked about earlier with Damiani in that battle. Looks like Wagner had a 10-second stop, but that battle between Kish and Damiani might have benefited him. And we're going to take a quick look, and we're going to switch this over and see where Damiani, who has overtaken Kish, by the way, finally made through. But looks like, look how much ground Wagner is coming out of the pits already, and they haven't even crossed the line. So Wagner out of the pits has gained that position. He's currently in 7th from the looks of it. So, and clear track ahead of him. He does have Anderson behind, and then, excuse me, yeah, it's Anderson, and then Molyneux, and then Damiani and Kish. So Wagner with a hell of a race for today. At least nothing major has happened to him. Gotta give him some props.
Ooh, Anderson just squeaks right through, interrupting Semedo and Lee's battle.
Wow, I switched that right over. We're going to take a look at a replay on that switch really quick and see exactly what happened. Just that entry. Look at that. He got on the inside and just said, excuse me, guys, I'm here to battle.
Now Smith. Oh, he just overtook Anderson, but now he's 1.5 seconds behind Lee. So that interrupted their battle for the time being.
Yes, and by the way, Kish has overtaken Damiani back for the P8. So this is just an absolute nightmare. It's just all over the place with 4 minutes
crazy.
left. This has been a great race, guys. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Check in the chat. McLaren winning Zolder would signal the apocalypse. You know, I will 100% agree with that. I don't think I'll ever win a race here in my McLaren. There is just no way that would happen. So
Too much curbs. Big sausage curbs.
Crown has made a stop, by the way, which now has officialized all the, I guess, until the end of the race. Again, we talked about earlier, Wagner was behind Damiani on that P7. And now he's P6, and now Kish in P7 and Damiani in P8. So, you know, Damiani is not too happy at the moment. It's still a hell of a race from him.
Ooh, Wheeler and Polyak. Little battle going on there. Side by side almost.
This is...
And he stick it. Now there's more battle. Oh, Boardman comes out of nowhere side by side with Wheeler. Boardman takes the inside, and he secures that spot right from Wheeler.
Wow.
He'll take it gladly.
What a race. I'm gonna say so far it's been absolutely insane.
Kovac just sends it right into the gravel playing dirt rally. Wheeler and Boardman still going at it. Not over yet.
We're gonna have to let's get a view. Oh, there it is. Wheeler and Boardman.
Here, almost. Oh, but Boardman gets a little tap from Kovac.
Oh my god.
This is crazy. Like, this is racing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this has been quite... I don't think I've had a break. There's been something going on this entire race. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, and now here they come again. Still Wheeler holding off Boardman and Kovac.
Oh, Boardman just sticking his nose right in behind Wheeler. Definitely a 3-car battle going on right now.
They got about 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go, guys. And Lee again, I'd say, based on what we've seen so far, Lee, I would give him a Driver of the Day award for keeping Semedo behind him. I think this is honestly the entire race. I'm not even gonna. I think from the start, like they've just been under pressure for literally 1 hour. And he's opened up a little bit. He's opened up about a second and a half, so Lee with a small breathing room, something he hasn't been able to do the entire race. So give him a little bit of props. And we're going to switch back over to this battle on the main feed. And Chilcutt, who we have yet to speak about, he's leading the race with a 13-second gap, by the way. He's on another level on his Aston Martin.
He doesn't want to deal with what's going on behind him, that's for sure.
He is just on a zone, and he is gone. That's what I would say.
Yep.
I mean, what a drive from him. And as a couple of the other drivers are coming in to start their last lap, and Kish has held that spot again from Damiani. So quite the battle, as Damiani had taken Kish, and a mistake maybe from Damiani, or battle, but we didn't catch it again. Try to catch everything on camera, but Kish has taken that again. It looks like Damiani goes wide. Is able to hold his Aston Martin.
Ooh, Boardman trying to attempt an overtake, but we're still a little bit too behind. But Kovac coming up. Oh, here we go again.
Here we go again. Sector 1, here it is.
Kovac side by side with Boardman.
He
takes the inside, and that is his. Oh, Boardman almost lost it for a second.
Got loose. This has been a total craziness today, guys.
Oh yeah.
And Chilcutt. Oh my god. Switch back to Mr. Chilcutt with the win. I don't even know what to say. What a drive from Mr. Chilcutt. He's taking that P1.
He is a legend.
And let's go ahead and follow. Drebes takes that second spot. What a drive for him. P2. And Archie not too far back takes that P3. Schlitz crosses, Louis crosses in 5th. And then Wagner coming through his best standings off the season so far takes that P6. Kish, and it looks like he actually holds on to that P7 over Damiani in P8. So a crazy battle between these guys. Crown P9. And it looks like Lee will be holding off that P10 to just half a second of Semedo, who crosses in at P11. So these guys, unbelievable drive. Mitchell crosses in as well. A couple of the other drivers. Everybody crossing in. Looks like Boardman, Kovac did take that position from Boardman. Boardman dropped to 17. So, wow. What a race today.
That was crazy.
You know,
Let me just say.
Last week, Imola was a little bit more chill, but Brands Hatch was a heck of a race. Again, a shorter track. But today at Zolder, I lost for words here. The amount of stuff I saw. Yeah. I don't know what to say anymore. That was crazy. All the drivers have crossed in. We're going to see if we can pull in a few of these drivers for an interview, because that was some serious driving. We'll see. Hopefully we find some of these guys joining in on the race chat, and then we'll pull them in for a quick interview. So give me a second, you guys, while I get that worked out on my end. But Chilka, got to give him P1. What a race! I mean, he's not. He's actually been P2 so far on the championship. So that is getting him closer and closer to the top. Let's see here. Who do we have that we can possibly pull? As the drivers are joining in our race review, just give us a few seconds, you guys. Chilka, our race winner. We got to bring him in just to find out what is he doing. What an absolute drive for him. Let's pull him in our cool down room for just a second, as the other drivers will be coming in, and then we'll try to see if we get P2 and P3 dray base as well here into our booth. So, a second, guys. All right, let's bring in our race winner, Alex Chilka. Alex, can you hear us here at the booth?
Yes.
Well, first of all, congratulations, man, on the win. I mean, you were on a whole different planet out there, man.
Thank you.
Well, first, talk to us a little bit about the race. I know you kind of got off a great start. You just started opening up a lead, and I know you did a late pit, but how did it go for you overall?
Very smooth. Not really any issues. I don't think I made any major mistakes. I had a bit of a battle with one of the back markers, but other than that, nothing really to report back. It was pretty boring.
I mean, I tried to look at you a few times on the stream, but you were so far ahead and just kind of on your own zone there, and no battling for you to going on, like as you mentioned. You just basically crossed the finish line with a good 13-second gap to P2. So obviously, absolute insane pace, and just want to congratulate you on it. And that's your second win, I believe, last week as well. Isn't that correct?
That is, yes.
There you go.
2 wins in a row for Champion Motorsports. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Back. Nice.
Back-to-back wins for your race winner, Alex Chilka. I'll go ahead and send you back to the race review chat. I appreciate you tuning in here, man.
Thank you.
Alrighty, and let's see who else is available on our chat that we can bring it on. A couple of guys. I don't want to bring anybody in that does not have their mic, and I want to be. Oh, Mr. Doug Lee, I gotta bring him in. He is available. We gotta talk to him. We gotta talk to him about him. We're gonna bring. Hopefully, he's able to give us a little bit of an insight on exactly what happened, and let's see if he is available. Put him down on our cool down room and. Let's move him over to our chat here, and hopefully he's got a mic. We need to talk to him. There we go. We wanted to bring in Mr. Doug Lee here to our booth. Doug, can you hear us here at the booth?
I hear you guys.
Well, first off, man, I got to tell you, we were following the entire stream, and you had a hell of a battle there going on with Semedo. I think it was the entire hour, if I'm not correct. If I'm correct, excuse me.
I am sweating in places I didn't know existed.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, if there was a driver of the day scenario here, that would be to you, because, I mean, you had, at first, I believe you had a crown on his McLaren for a while. He was able to eventually, get through whatever it was. But for the remaining of the race, you had Semedo, then you pit. You came out a pretty good of a distance ahead of him, but then he caught up. And then I'm just wondering, like, that was a hell of a drive. I gotta give you that. So
Semedo's definitely faster than me. He had me defending every other corner, basically.
No, I mean,
it was tough.
No, I would not want to be on your seat. I'll tell you that. I mean, I can only imagine Tomato just trying to make his way around or whatnot. It was entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. And then in the end, you came out with that. You still were able to hold him off. So, just wanted to bring you in here to just get a little bit of a feedback on how that went. And you said you sweat in places you never knew you could possibly sweat, and that's probably enough. So. But I appreciate you tuning in, man. I won't take too much of your time. I'll put you back on the race review channel, but thanks for stopping by here.
Alrighty, thanks, guys.
Yeah, definitely wanted to get his touch on that. I mean, that was a drive from him. So
Indeed. Oh yeah.
let's see if we're able to. Trying to see if I can pull. Oh, let's pull it. I know he does not have his mic on, so I don't want to bring him in and scare him off. Try to see if we can pull one more person over from our list. And I see Mr. Oh, here's. I know Schlitz had a pretty good race too. I think he was following for that P4, what I believe is correct if I'm wrong. He was following pretty close, and he was not able to get through. So give me 1 second here. Just a second while I get my stuff ready to go on my end. And apologies for the take on my end. 1 second here. I'm having some weird issues trying to move people over to our chat room. And why is that not working? And Damiani is there as well. I wanted to get his touch with him himself and Kish, but he is taking care of the race review, so I don't want to pull him in the middle of everybody watching him. So here we go. Oh, Drebes, he does have his mic. He ended up way up top, so I got to bring Mr. Drebes in here. He had his mic muted
Definitely
earlier.
gotta bring him. Oh yeah.
So let's bring him over. Hopefully he's able to give us a little bit of an insight. He did finish up there P2, so let's bring him over here for a quick chat. Here we go.
Fellow D4 driver as well.
Yes, so Landon Drebes, can you hear us here at the booth?
Yeah, loud and clear. What's up?
Hey, man.
Hello, Landon.
Well, congratulations, man. You finished up top once again. I know Chilcutt was up ahead, but you had a serious pace there as well, man. Just wanted to bring you and get a little bit of how did your race go today?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Chilcutt was fast. And for the first couple, I don't know, the first probably stint there, it was close. Like I could see him on the straightaways, and it was so tantalizing. Like if I could just squeeze a tenth or two more, but every time I would, he would then again. And it was close, but I just didn't have what it took. I think I was like 10 seconds behind, which isn't too bad considering the condition. I kind of was a bit sick this week, and I'll start listing off excuses. But the bottom line is it was a great race. I had a great time. Wasn't able to do too much battle, but we stayed ahead. P2, we'll take it.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
Oh yeah.
You guys were, Alex up front. He was, oh man, serious space up front. But then, you guys, P2, P3, you guys had a little bit of a kind of like on your own sort of scenario. But then it was absolutely insanity. The rest of the field, if you watch it later, it was serious battles going on, and people pitting in, undercut here, try to overcut you here, and I'm like, what in the heck is going on? I couldn't even focus on you guys as much because you guys were more having some more of maybe a hot lap session up front, but that should move you quite a few positions on the standings, which is a nice finish, obviously, up there.
For sure.
So, yeah, still battling, and then I do know Alex also has been moving up for his finich, so you guys are making it quite interesting here towards the later half of the season. So
that's what it's all about.
Cool.
Yeah, the first couple of races for me weren't too great, so now we got into a rhythm with these D2 people. I think we got some pace. I think we're gonna make it interesting towards the end here, and I'm having a blast, and that's all that matters.
That's the way to go, man.
Sure. Yep.
Awesome, man. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time either. I'll go ahead and send you back to the race review channel, but I appreciate you stopping by.
Hey, thanks guys for the stream. Can't wait to watch it again. You guys are great.
Awesome, man. Sounds good. You're welcome, man. Okay, and we got our 3 reviews, interviews, and so I think we were okay. And obviously, you guys can go back and watch the stream later and see how kind of insane that was. I'd say I'd had a heck of a time. Before we close out our stream, we'd always like to bring in and talk to you guys about our sponsors, and something that appreciate all you guys who are title sponsors to SRA. It's because of you guys' support, we enjoy doing these streams, and we'll keep growing as we have over so many drivers across so many different divisions now, and it's only getting bigger. So we appreciate all the support. And I always like to read off the name of our title sponsors and sponsors. So I will start off with Al Latufo, Dan Rebel, Dominic Duran, Evan Kim, Fosli Majid, Gordon Beverly, Jacob Wolfman, Josh Dabiani, Ken Miller, Kyle McGinnis, Len Shark, Mark Retchen, Matt Morrison, Michael Megenheimer, Milo Green, Paulie Hartman, Ramon Lorenzo, Richard Schultz, Robbie Toady, Stephanie Fisher, Thomas Greer, Tony Spaggett, and Zach Sky for our title sponsors. Appreciate all your support. And our sponsors as well. Let's go over the list. We have Adam Santana, Anthony Rower, Bailey Kish. Had a crazy battle today on our stream. Ben Roberts, Connor Farrell, Darren Robichaud, Dewal Banderi, Dominic Duran, Eduardo Rodriguez, A.M. Byron, Elliot Levine, Ethan Marvin, Evan Kim, Jitesh Katavkar, Jack Poliak, Justin Rowley, Kevin Anderson, Koadromo, Mark Retchen, Matt Morrison, Michael Jeffries, Michael Megenheimer, Milo Green, Nate Bright, Nate Speck, Nick Sand, Philip Menzies, Pravin Fonseca, Ramon Lorenzo again as well, Richard Schultz, Robbie Toady, Ron Flo, Selena Brewster. I totally killed your name, Selena. I'm sorry. Selena Boonstra.
That's okay.
She is right here on the booth, and I totally butchered it. I
Right
apologize.
here.
There she is.
Oh,
yes.
good.
And then Stephanie
Go on,
Fisher,
Ray.
Stephen Smalley, Thomas Greer, Tony Spaggett, Travis Robinson, and Zach Sky. Thank you so much for you guys' support. And anything else other than that for today's event? Did you have anything else you wanted to add for the stream, Selena?
I think that's pretty good. All I can say is that was just a crazy race and probably the craziest race that we've ever had, really. It was just final few minutes were just battles on battles and more battles. It was just hard to keep up with. Very great racing.
Yes. Yes,
Very
absolutely.
exciting.
Hope you guys on the chat, on the stream, you guys enjoyed it. We do our best to keep, all the battles as clear as we can with you guys. But next week, we are heading over to Oldham Park, and that is going to be an entertainment race as well. We all know how bumpy that track gets, and we'll see what these tracks, what these drivers will be able to come up with. It is sunny, so it's not anything crazy like a flooded Oldham Park. That would be an absolute disaster. But other than that, I think we'll close off the stream. And if you guys are out there again, thanks again for tuning in, and have a good night, everybody.
Good night.